So a guy called Sam is talking briefly to his friend Peter about work-related stuff. Sam walks away to say hi to a blonde bombshell who had just pulled up in her car. Her name's Molly. Apparently, her ticket was canceled. Molly says she was going to tell him this weekend and wants to discuss it later, but Sam wants to discuss it now. So she dumps him on the spot, saying they're not working out. Condolences, bruh.
So we're gonna be all business for the next 2 days.
Another bombshell arrives on the scene. This one brunette called Olivia. Then the boss shows up, total jerk called Dennis. Hopefully he'll be the first to go. Sam runs across the parking lot to find a guy called Nathan. So this dude Nathan and Sam walk back across the parking lot to get on the bus.
Just thought I'd be leaving too much behind.
It's gonna be a real awkward trip for Sam now since he's in the same space as his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend. Sam notices some text on the bus saying, "Watch your step," and he stares at it ominously. He knows something's up, but gets on the bus anyway. The bus travels for some time before approaching a bridge. On the side of the road is a sign. Even the picture of the bridge on the sign has a break in it. Everyone on the bus sits there looking bored out of their minds, while a desperately dull video plays on the world's smallest TV at the front of the bus.
Stupid retreat thing with the idiots from the office.
Sam's looking out the window, seeing a truck carrying a bunch of logs. The bus reaches the bridge. There's construction taking place on the side. A jackhammer jacking, people shouting, someone doing something with wet cement. Sam sees a man waving a slow sign. Sam's looking closely at the construction as the bus slowly drives by, seeing a literal hole in the bridge. Whoa, a bucket falls in the hole, probably the wind, and into the river below. We can really see now how high that fall is. The bus comes to a stop as one of the construction guys steps out with a stop sign, and Sam cuts his thumb on a sharp piece of metal sticking out from the chair in front. The bus begins to glitch, the TV goes out, and the radio changes station. The wind outside begins to pick up, and Sam realizes that something's wrong. The bridge begins to crack. Sam jumps up from his seat and calls Molly to him, getting off the bus with her without pausing. Candace, Peter's girlfriend, gets separated from the others, holding onto the railing for dear life, screaming for help. But the bridge continues to collapse and she falls, landing on the mast of a ship casually sailing directly below her.
Peter! Come on, Peter, let's go!
The bus falls into the river, everyone runs away, and Velma loses her glasses. The supports on the bridge begin to collapse as people continue to run for their lives. Sam and his girlfriend, ex, become trapped, stuck on the bridge itself and unable to get back to solid land. Molly tightropes her way to safety, while Olivia stumbles around blindly.
All right.
Come on.
It's okay, it's safe.
He tries to save her, but Olivia falls in the water. She's alright though. She lands correctly in that water and comes up for air. Never mind. A car lands on her. Yeah, she's definitely dead now. Nathan's killed horribly. Seriously, blink and you miss it. And the horrible boss called Dennis dies horribly too. Damn. The bridge continues to collapse dramatically, and Sam, now holding onto the rail for dear life, tries to climb to safety. Peter dies and falls onto the concrete with a red splatter before hitting the water. That was a lot of blood. Sam also dies horribly. And snap back to reality. We're all back on the bus, safe and sound. For now, the bus comes to a sharp halt, and Sam cuts his thumb on that seat. Wait a second.
We're all gonna die if we don't get off this bridge now!
The bridge begins to collapse like it did before in his vision, but by this time Sam and Molly have escaped to safety, along with the rest of the passengers on the bus, including Jerk Boss. Next thing Sam knows is that he's being interrogated by a cop who somehow manages to bring up that the incident on the bridge was somehow premeditated. Somehow. Sam's explaining that he had a vision, but the cop here named Agent Block doesn't seem to be buying it.
Told you, I saw it coming. I don't know how.
There's a knock on the door, and Block's informed by another guy that the bridge collapsed due to high winds and structural damage. Sam's free to go, but before he can slip past Block. Elsewhere, we have a company funeral for the people that died in that bridge accident, of which there was a total of 86. A reporter is reporting this incident. Among some of the survivors were 8 from the company Presage Paper on their way to a business retreat. The other 17 employees were killed in the collapse. Nathan and some of his other co-workers are gathered together. Sam appears and tells the others that the news said it was natural causes. Molly's asking Sam how he's doing, and he says he's just tired. The others start to question Sam on how he knew this, but Sam says he doesn't know.
We should all just put it behind us and be grateful we're still alive.
The funeral begins, and the boss Dennis reads from the podium. As they're leaving the funeral, Sam and Peter are spoken to by a man who, let's face it, could only be the Grim Reaper. With little other explanation, he tells them to be careful before walking away, whistling creepily as he does so. Later, Sam's working as a chef in a fancy restaurant. His shift was pretty crummy, and then he walks through the streets in the rain. He visits Molly's home. She lets him in awkwardly,
I thought you'd be working tonight.
Yeah.
before leaving him alone briefly to go back to the kitchen. She gives him a drink and they sit down to talk. Sam's talking about what happened on the bridge, saying that she was the only thing he could think about. Sam says that he can't fix anything he's done wrong in the relationship, trying to get her back, but she says that he hasn't done anything wrong. Molly explains that she feels guilty for him choosing her over his dream job. She tells him to take the job in Paris, and that life is too short.
I'm not going to uproot my life.
In the meantime, Peter talks to Candace as she prepares for gym practice. Candace says she doesn't feel ready, saying it's hard to concentrate after everything that's happened. Peter encourages her from the sidelines, and Candace smiles at him, patting her hands with chalk or whatever that stuff is. Shockingly, I'm not a gymnast. Candace begins to practice on one of those gymnast poles. Telling you, I'm not flexible enough to know what that is. In an anxiety-inducing scene where Candace gets dangerously close to standing on a sharp object. She lands safely, the screw no longer a threat. Damn, that was hard to watch.
Every time, Candace.
After getting dangerously close to an electric wire resting in a puddle, Candace goes to the poles to practice. Another girl on the gymnast bar lands on the screw, falling off and knocking over the chalk, causing Candace to… oh yeah. Sam's comforting Peter later, having heard the news. Peter questions why this happened.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Peter.
Sam sees in the distance the Grim Reaper again. The next day, Olivia's meeting up with Sam and Molly at the office. Olivia's saying what happened to Candace is a real bummer, and that she's surprised it doesn't happen more often. Wow. While the others sit to have a drink, Isaac steals a gift certificate for a free spa session from Robert's desk, hoping to get a massage from one of the lovely young ladies.
Relax.
Ooh.
And instead is manhandled by a stern lady. The abuse continues with acupuncture. Oh, and a trigger warning for anyone who doesn't like needles. Isaac is left for 30 minutes in the room to sleep, with those needles in him. A sinister wind blows the candles, and a piece of incense falls on the towel, starting a fire. Isaac in panic rolls off the bed, landing on the needles, and spilling the bottle of alcohol. As he's heading to the door to get out of the room, his phone, which is sitting on the shelf right beside a candle, begins to vibrate, knocking the candle off the shelf and onto the floor. The floor immediately ignites. Isaac falls over in panic, watching as this fire's creeping ever closer towards him. It stops short, however. The fire doesn't get him, but the Buddha does. That heavy statue falls off the shelf, squishing that head like a watermelon. Nah, the Grim Reaper would have had him eventually. Death always finds a way. Back at the office, Olivia gets a text telling the others that she has to leave to get a ride. She accidentally knocks a picture of herself and a friend over, breaking the glass over her face in the picture. After she leaves, Sam finishes off the last bottle, saying the others should make a toast. Molly to starting over. And when Sam's asking Peter, he goes back to Candace saying how it doesn't make sense. She died doing something she's done every day, saying she didn't want to do it. He blames himself for not stopping her. Molly tries to comfort him, but Peter smashes a glass out of frustration. He immediately apologizes and walks away.
Thank you, Dennis, and call me if you see anything strange.
A short time later, Peter comes back, interrupting a convo between Sam and Molly, who are talking about their future together as a couple. Sam, Molly, Nathan, and Peter gather outside Ming Gung Spa, just in time to see the coroner bring out Isaac's body. But none of them believe that it was a freak accident, especially not Sam, who sees Mr. Grim Reaper again. Sam crosses the police tape to speak to the Grim Reaper, demanding to know why he's following him. Why don't you calm down there, Sam? Not everything has to be about you. But the man simply replies that he's doing his job as a coroner, denying that he knows anything. He only says that he's seen this before. He mentions the bridge again.
You changed things on that bridge.
Telling him it's a wrinkle in reality. They are the wrinkle in reality. Nathan's asking him if they're doomed to die. The man tells him that they were supposed to die on that bridge, and they're not supposed to be here. The guy says the only way to survive is to give death what he wants. A soul, I guess? Peter reiterates that the only way to save themselves is to kill someone else. The coroner says he doesn't make the rules though, he just cleans up after the game is over. He gets back in his sinister looking black van and drives away. Peter says that maybe that's why Candace and Isaac died, because they were supposed to die on the bridge and it, whatever it is coming for the rest of them. Except for Molly. She's the lucky one. Sam's explaining that when he saw the vision, Molly survived. Peter gets all salty about it, saying how does Molly apparently deserve to live more than Candace? Nathan tells him that he doesn't believe any of that and Peter walks off. Molly says that they have to tell Olivia, so she, Sam, and Nathan all go to find her. Olivia is at the optician now, going to get corrective surgery on her eyeballs. Oh God. The doctor invites her into a sinister-looking operating room and they begin.
Sometimes they're older ones too. Come on.
The doc places a device on her so she can't move her head, for the procedure, and he gives her an eye drop, telling her that she'll feel some numbness in her eye. She's getting nervous as he uses that weird tool to keep her eye open. I do not like where this is going. Olivia stares up at that laser thing above her. She squeezes the body of the teddy she's holding, something kept in the room to calm some of the more nervous patients. The eye from the teddy falls to the floor, and her eye is looking more and more red by the second.
I'm just going to enter some data into...
The doctor leaves briefly to get more paperwork. Outside the room, elsewhere in the building, a cup of water falls off the water cooler and onto a socket. Back inside the room, Olivia can hear a steadily increasing beeping sound. She tries to reach for the emergency stop remote, instead knocking it to the floor. It lands on the wrong button and that laser turns on, too strong now, and it burns her eye and she's screaming. She manages to get the equipment off her head but stands on the eye of the teddy that fell onto that floor, falling back, hitting the window, glass breaks, and she falls to her death. And another one bites the dust. Police come. Sam and Molly sitting in shock in that waiting room of the eye doctor. Molly asks Sam to stay with her for the night, and he agrees. Agent Blockhead appears once again and begins to question them both, wanting to know what's going on, and saying that 3 deaths is a pattern. He sits beside him, telling him how he knows they didn't do this. The agent finally agrees that he believes they're innocent, but he tells them that he thinks that they know something. Sam says they don't know anything, but with some prompting, he explains about the bridge, saying that for a lack of a better word, death is coming for him. Sam and Molly leave, and the agent sits there looking confused. That night, Sam and Molly are staying together, but Sam can't sleep, saying he can't stop thinking about the bridge. Sam talks about his premonition. He mentions that they're all dying in order,
What are you getting at?
and that the next to die is Nathan. Well, Nathan is currently at work, sitting at his desk looking through CCTV. He goes and steps out of the office. I would say this is a terrible place to be, but I guess nowhere is safe. Another one of the workers named Roy gets confrontational with Nathan, calling him a schoolboy. Nathan's asking what's with his time card. Oh, he wrote "F you" on it. Roy complains that Nathan cut his hours, which means he cut his pay. Nathan argues back that he cuts everyone's hours. Corporate stuff, 50% something, they continue arguing.
We gotta move! Gotta move!
Roy is killed by machinery. Peter, Sam, and Molly meet Nathan at work, and Pete's getting accused of killing Roy, pushing him in the way. And with some reluctance, Nathan admits that he probably killed him, and Sam explains to the others that there is an order. Dennis appears, and demanding to know what the heck happened. Peter demands to know who's next from Sam. We don't have to wait long for this one, as Dennis is killed moments later by a flying spanner. Hey, at least it was quick. Later, Molly and Sam are arguing about Sam going to work, and Sam says that he can't escape this, reminding Molly that Isaac died on a massage table.
We'll just have to figure something else out.
She reluctantly gives in, handing Sam his coat and letting him go to work. Sam starts his shift working at a busy restaurant. The kitchen's dangerous. We got fire, sharp things, more fire, all sorts of equipment that could lead to a slow, horrible death, like the meat grinder, which Sam has to use for a short time. Sam survives the shift. Having dinner with Molly later when the restaurant is closed and quiet, he tells her that he took the internship, and Molly's happy for him. Peter joins him moments later, looking flustered. They invite him to sit, and Sam offers food, but Peter declines. Instead, Pete continues talking about killing another person to save himself, saying that he's scared of dying.
Take someone else's life?
He starts talking about murder, freaking out Sam and Molly. Sam's asking what he did, and Peter said that in the end he couldn't kill anyone that didn't deserve to die, but goes on to say that none of them deserve to die. He then pulls a gun out on Molly, asking why is it that she deserves to live. He fires that gun but misses. Sam and Molly flee. Pete finds Sam in the kitchen demanding to know where Molly is, but Sam won't tell him, saying that he'll have to kill him first. But Pete says that won't do any good because death is after him too. Sam tries to reason with Peter, but to no avail. They fight briefly and Sam gets knocked out.
It's not your time yet.
Peter then begins to hunt Molly down. Instead of shooting Molly, Peter shoots Agent Block instead, who appeared after those gunshots were heard. Molly's begging Peter to let her go, telling him that he's killed someone and is safer now. But Pete tells Molly that she's a witness to his crime and can't be allowed to live. Peter fires at Molly again but misses, and then he goes after her but then is stopped by Sam. The two fight epically, and Sam ends up killing Peter by stabbing him through the chest. He believes that he's saved now, having taken a life. 2 weeks later, Sam and Molly board a plane to Paris, traveling together to make a new start. Sam sees two people fighting on the plane. He doesn't know about what though. They're both removed, and Sam takes his seat beside Molly. She's asking what the fighting's about, and Sam says that he doesn't know. The plane takes off. They're now in the air. Sam begins to relax, puts on his music. He's alarmed when he hears a certain song, the one he heard on the bus before the bridge collapsed. He takes his headphones off, and moments later, cuts his thumb, just like he did on the bus. Then he hears one of the flight attendants say that one of the men fighting previously wanted off the plane because he saw a vision. Uh-oh. Sam becomes panicked now, but there's no way to escape as they're already in the sky. The jet engine bursts into flames, and that plane goes down. That's right, folks. For those who don't know, this movie's a prequel to the first movie in the franchise, which begins with that plane crash. The story has come to a full circle. Molly's killed horribly when she falls out of the plane, hitting the tail and blood everywhere, and Sam's screaming in the fire as the rest of the plane goes up in flames. As a final end to the story, during Roy's funeral, Nathan learns that the company did an autopsy on Roy for insurance purposes. What we learned from the autopsy is Roy had a brain aneurysm that would have resulted in his death any day now. Seconds later, a piece of landing gear from that plane breaks through the roof and kills Nathan instantly. Thus ends this tale. Thanks for chilling with us. This was Final Destination 5, released in 2011, directed by Stephen Quayle. And if you think this is the last movie, you're sorely mistaken, because Final Destination 6 is on its way.